Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I am so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Let us go into an overview about the theoretical part of the business rule. What are the users? What are the steps involved? What is the process involved? And what is the advantage? Then we will go into the system. In success factor, we have this feature that is called as a business rule. SAP introduced this feature that whenever an action is being performed within the SAP application, those action has to be executed automatically. Rather than the action to be performed, the output should be performed manually. It should be executed automatically. Suppose for justifying my sentence, if I want to take an example, let us take something as a scenario where an end user is trying to change the employee's location or employee's position or employee's any organization's structure value. And when the end user will click on the save. If they want a scenario that it should not be immediately, first of all, it should do to an approval process, then it can be routed with the help of a work and workflow can be executed. Workflow will trigger, or in this scenario, if the rule is there, business rule is there. That is what? When we are giving a communication to the system that we are performing an action, an event reason is offering how for the end user object. Here also an event and event reason will trigger. But triggering the event and event reason. Here also we need to go with the help of a business. Finally, for any scenario which is related to the employee related fields, we should go with the concept of business rule. Now what the business rule says. Business rules are used to add application logic to determine the outcome of the change made to a particular data in the system. When we are writing a business rule, the business rules are written on the basis of some logic. Logic means some conditions. For example, now as I told you, I am trying to change. I am creating a scenario where I am trying to change the employee's location. I am going to be having, I change the location. What is the new location and what is the previous location? With the comparison of the new location and with the help of the previous location, I need to feed it out a condition that if I am drafting in the business rule and if any end user makes the same type of a scenario, then system will try to compare the scenario with the business rule condition. First of all, before triggering, the business rule system will try to identify whenever that action is performed, connecting to that action any business rule is there or not. If any business rule is there connecting to that action, what is that rule? What is the condition in that rule? Then system will try to compare that condition. And when system will try to compare that condition, if condition is getting satisfied, which is there in the business rule with the scenario which has been happening, then the rule will trigger and in that rule, whatever is it is an event reason, or if it is a workflow which we are setting, that we will get trigger and it will be executed automatically. That only. It is saying business rules are used to add applications to logic to determine the outcome of a change made to a particular data in the system. For example, you can set up a business rule to trigger certain actions when data is being added, or it has been changed, or it has been. This is the basic definition of the business rule. Now coming into the steps. When we come into the steps, what are the steps which are involved in it? There are 2 steps mainly which is involved into it. One is creating a business rule and second is assigning the business rule. In MDFF object also we were creating the workflow and we are assigning the workflow. Here workflow can be triggered when with the help of the business rule. For that we need to create business rule. When in the first step, when we want to create a business rule, then how to create a business rule? In the business rule, we need to define which action the system performs when specific conditions are met. In the business rule, we need to define which action. It is a location. It is a salary change. It is a position change. It is a department change, or the P8 is a supervisor change. Whatever is the action, just specify in the system that from when specific conditions are met. For that again, under creating a business rule, there are 2 things: creating a condition and creating a statement. When we go into create a business rule, first of all we need to go and create the condition. What is the condition? We want to go and create it. What is the condition? That is if, then and else. These are the 3 pillars of the logic which we want to look on, and among these 3 areas only we will be trying to configure the condition. Creating a condition. When you want to create a condition, we want to, first of all, the first part which we used to look is the if section. There is these other sections. In the if section, while creating a condition in the if section of the rule, we need to find which conditions need to be met. We need to create a condition in the if section. Once we create a condition, then if this condition is being met, then that will be creating a statement. That is the second part in the business rule. Statement means what? Then if the condition is been met in the if section, then in the then section of the rule, we need to define how the system react when the conditions are. Suppose we are creating a condition if the location, a calendar value, is not equal to the location previous value. This is the condition. If this condition is met, how you are creating a statement? Then you want to set either the event reason value for event reason. Set the event reason value to be equal to. And xy, whatever is the xy, z means that is the event reason code which you have already created. Finally, you are triggering the event reason with the help of this condition. But earlier, what was happening? Whenever you are making the changes in the system, you are trying to do the event and event reason manually entering into the system. You are notifying to the system that this is the event and event reason which is occurring. But now you are not entering it manually. You have created a condition and the statement. And once the condition is getting satisfied, once the condition is been met, as per the scenario, the statement will be set in the then section. And in the then section, whatever is the statement, suppose you have wanted to do the event reason. That is the statement. Event reason will be triggered automatically. Event reason will be triggered automatically on the basis of the scenario which you are performing. And that scenario will be compared in the first section, that is the if section. Is it clear? Any questions? Yes, but just one question. Will there be else? Gender question? Yes, yes. That only. I am again coming up. Suppose you see, whenever you are working on a business or something, a conceptual part, you will get a scenario. You need to understand the customer's requirement, that in that customer's requirement, how you want to draft the condition. Your condition can be restricted only to the if section and the then section, or you want to include the else statement or else section also. For putting the else section, let us take another scenario where you, in the if section, you are creating some condition where for a particular field, you want to make the visibility to be equal to AD table. For a certain permission group, we have already completed LPP. In LPP, we have certain permission group. What we want to do is what the requirement from the business is, that we have certain permission groups. HR admin, manager service, ESS, lot of permission groups. Now customer 1. Whenever the HR admin will try to go into the employee profile, that field should be able to. But apart from that, for the others, it should be only in the readable mode. It should not be able to. In that case, what will happen? In the if condition, you have to create a condition in this way that you have to include the permission group. That for this permission, if this permission group, if somebody is logged in as a user, then you need to set the visibility of that particular field should be equal to AD table. Else make the set, the visibility should be equal to no. In that case, what is happening? You have created a if condition, then you think the then section. You are setting the statement to the AD table. And in the else statement, you are putting it. If otherwise you are making that particular field visibility as an app, then you are including the else. Apart from the else, you also have else, esports. If is one section, then is one section. And again, if this is getting satisfied, otherwise else you are putting that it should be only readable or it should not be visible like that. Now this if then section which is there, this is one block. When you go with if and then, but it is one block, got it? In this, if there is one condition which is being, if one condition is there in the if and it is setting the statement in the then statement again. If you want to include another condition after the end of then statement, then you can go with the else if you are linking or you are chaining the another condition with the first condition, then the another condition again. Else, if again you will write a condition and again you will create a statement, then statement that will be that if then will be the block 2. First block and second block, and after that, if you are putting else, make this as a hidden arm, make this as a visibility as an arm. What you are doing in a single business, you are drafting two different conditions with the connecting of else. If these if then else if are the logical operators. These are called the logical operators. which will help us to create the condition in the while creating the business. Is it clear? The first step is to create a business, or second step is to assign the business or creating a business, or can be done with the help of creating a condition. And for creating condition, these are the logical operators which are there. We have another logical operators also, that is and we have all also. These and all operators can also be included in the if section. Now you are creating a condition. If then else you are stopping that particular. If then condition there only with the help of adding else. If you want to again connect with another condition, you will be using else. This is clear. Now if in the if, then also if you want to give some connecting condition with the probability by using the another logical operator, that is and all. Suppose if I am putting a condition in this way, that if the legal entity, let us take, if the legal entity country equal to France, and sorry, if the legal entity equal to France, and I am now using an operator, and if the permission group login user should be equal to H, at a minimum France. If we are trying to add two if conditions with the help of connecting and that means mandatory, these two conditions are there, that the whatever the changes is happening, that changes is being made by the HR at a minimum France, and it is made to the employee profile whose legal entity country is France. Then you will set the statement. That is the then we will be using the AND operator. All operator means, if let us take you have a 2 HR at a minimum permission group. One is for the France and one is for, let us take Belgium. If the permission group HR at minimum plan or the permission group HR at a minimum Belgium is there, then set the statement. Set this field. Visibility should be equal to any table. Any of the HR at a minimum, either from France or from the Belgium is accessing. Then we are setting up the visibility equal to any table. These are the operators according to the situation we will try to use, and means mandatory, both if should be there. A condition should be there when you are performing an action. All means any of it. Understood here? It is something how you are juggling these operators according to the requirement. Finally, you don't want to make anything very complex and you don't want to make the thing rest of it. Rules should be defined in a very simple and very understandable way, but you should need to understand what exactly is the scenario, and according to that, when you are drafting a rule condition, according to that, only later you need to do the testing also. If condition is something and you are doing the testing in other way, you cannot able to get a design present. Right. If condition is correct but you are doing testing in other way, the result will not become. Condition and the testing should be parallelly seen to each other. Synchronized to each other. That is one. Now coming into the assigning the business rule. When you come into the assigning the business rule is only triggered when it has been assigned to the corresponding object field business process. The business rule is only triggered when it has been assigned to the corresponding Rule will only trigger when you are assigning to a particular object or a particular field. When you go into an employee in an employee profile, you can see various portal itself. Right? First, role info, job info, employment info. These are the portals. Right. These portal X we have already completed BCUI. Right, manage business configuration, where you are defining all the employee related skills. With earlier it was there in succession at a model. Now we can use in BCUI also. Correct. When we were completed manage business, you have seen one section was that trigger rule section. I told that when we start with the business rule, we will again come back to that section. When you open up in manage business configuration left side, whatever you are seeing that is HRS element, right? Those are called HRS element. Those HRS elements are nothing but the portal X. Right. If you have created a condition for a particular portal, it is supposed to have created a condition for job information. And in this job information, you have a form in some action. System will try to see any business rule is there which is related to that particular portal at all. That is job information. When you are creating a rule, that is the first step. We need to assign that rule to that particular portal at all particular HRS elements. In our case, the HRS element is suppose job information. Here also it is justifying the sentence that business rule is only triggered when it has been assigned to the corresponding object, means that portal. Overall object, if you are assigning, means overall portal, that is job information. Field level assigning means in that portal you may be having multiple fields, but that rule should only work when you are collecting to a particular field. Then what will happen is that field, the value is getting changed. Then only that rule should trigger. Then you will assign that the field level. That is the difference between an object level and a field level. Is it clear? Any questions? Again, I am repeating it in HRS element in management business configuration. When you go there, you have an object and various fields. That is HRS element is the object. HRS element is the object. That is job information and permanent information. Under HRS element, what you can see HRS field, right? Yes, in HRS fields are there. You can assign the rule to the HRS element also or to HRS field also. Got it? Now you are going to HRS. Element means you are going to job information, right? You can directly assign to job information. Means in the HRS element job information, whatever fields are there, it is that rule is applicable to any of these fields, right? Giving the multiple, you are giving a scenario that any of the fields can be added into that rule and the rule can work for any of the fields. That is the reason because you are assigning that rule to the object level. Now, if I am saying that you want to assign the rule only to the field level means for the position or for the location. Now, for a particular position, only if I am assigning, it means if that position value is getting changed, then only the rule should be changed. If that is the reason that I am going with the field level, that is the difference between an object and the field. When you are assigning the business, got it. that only it is saying that can be assigned to the corresponding object and the field. Now coming here, once we know that these are the two steps, after that, what is generally the uses of the configure business pool? I have created a concept, some points where we can able to understand what are the users of the business. First use is to set the default value. What is the meaning of setting up of the default value? For default value means what it says. You can define the default value for this position. Default value means, see, last year I was having a requirement from the customer when the employee or the manager initiate that termination, submit the termination, there is a under the termination. There we have a field that is called OK2DN. OK2DN, we have a drop-down value. If we want to make the drop-down value by default as yes, then we will go with this work, that is, specify that setting the default value as the use that you can default the default value for the specific field. Whenever a user initiate the termination, that field default value should be coming as yes, and there should not be any option of selecting as no. Got it? Then conditional value, you can define which default value is set when a specific termination is met. That only I was telling you. If this condition is met, then how the system should we have example when the admin select the business unit. For example, admin select the business unit, the job classification automatically is usually be shared to the engineering understood. Here business unit and the job classification are connected to each other. This is something a conditional value. Coming to the field properties, that is the another one. Let me put the point here also. Now field call. You can default field visible or required. Just now I told you if you want to put the HR admin, the field visibility should be equal to very table or make it mandatory. Setting up the field property can also be possible, but I have a problem with this. Can we have the fourth point? What is the fourth point? Display error message. Display error message is something where whenever the end user is filling up something and if any mandatory fields are there or miss that particular field, then a how come message should be missed. It's specific that you can define that an error message is, for example, the user forgot to maintain a required field and get a customer specific as a message displayed while trying to see. Go ahead. That is one thing. And then we have the fifth point, that is validating the consistency of the field. You can define all the 11 fields are provided. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.